A lot of people commented that it looked like bubble tea. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Wendy and this is Can She DIY It? It's a series where I try to make things, I show you all the steps, hopefully both of us succeed, as you've seen from the title and thumbnail. Today's inspiration is from Beyonce's Black is King, released on Disney+. Not all of us have opportunities to wear the amazing outfits that she was sporting in the video. So the challenge today is to try to make some everyday looks inspired by her amazing outfits. I've chosen two that give us some pretty good opportunities also to do new things: bias gathering, jacket construction, big puffy sleeves, pretty little cuffs. So I hope this inspires you to give it a go yourself too. This video is also sponsored by Casetify and their new 100% compostable phone cases. I will get into that later, but let me show you the fabric I bought because it's really pretty. We're going to be working with two fabrics today. This lovely print organza. It's got some like watercolor flowers on it. And the benefit of organza is that it's much stiffer and has more iridescence and shine than chiffon. Hopefully that will catch light in a nice way. And this corduroy I picked up from the Fabric Room, which sells basically dead stock fabric. Really nice Italian velvety corduroy. I'm a bit intimidated by its quality because it was not that cheap either. This is the inspo for our printed organza from the song Water. And then over here, the inspo for this beige corduroy. I think this is from Mood Forever. First step, turn all this fabric into strips. These have all been cut on the bias, about 6 inches or 15 centimeters wide. And then Julia has cut and sewn them all together to form one giant boss. Feel like one of those magic shows. You get the idea. This was very time consuming. It took over 2 hours, so please send love to Julia in the comments for her hard work. Next, it all has to get gathering stitches, which is just 2 parallel stitches along one of the long edges on the longest stitch length possible. Ooh, one last trick. The lovely people at Leo's told us to cut it on the bias, so we don't even have to hem it. Julia got started on the first gathering stitch while I kept working on the inner layer, but then I realized I got this fancy gathering foot as a gift from my mom, and it gathers all in one stitch, which will save us so much work. It worked! Yay! If you don't want to make a tank top, you could thrift one, but generally this is the shape I've decided to go for in my letter low kit. I'm still test driving this, so I was really curious. I like how this one is flat across with not too thick of straps. And then on the back here, it shows the patterns that you need to cut that out. This one is the front that I need, and this is the back that corresponds. You follow their whole system to draw all these dots at the distances they tell you to from this X, and then when you connect them all, it forms a piece that's been scaled to fit your bust. So this is my front, this is the back. I'm trying to economize, so this is actually upside down. You know, gotta save paper if possible. One thing I don't like about the back is I also want the back to be a strap that cuts across straight. So I've roughly drawn this. I think I need to round out this corner, but I'm gonna cut these out and see if they transfer to my fabric well. Though we hoped naively to finish this top in one day, we spent the rest of the morning relearning something we've learned so many times, which is sewing takes so much longer than you think it does. All right, here's the front pieces I cut out. This one's been pinned up, ready to be sewn in for the darts, but this one I just left unpinned so you could clearly see the dart markings. And this is the back pinned, unpinned. First, I'm gonna sew in all the darts. Back to our regular sewing foot. Thank you for your service. Okay. Backs done, fronts done. All of these are going to get sewn right sides together to surround the body. The back middle, however, will be joined together with zipper, so I'm going to do that one last. If you guys want to check out this pattern drafting kit that I used to make this one shot did not fail tank top, I will put a link in the description. I also asked them if they could just make you guys a coupon code, so that's in the description too. When I first got this kit, there's a video of me testing it out on myself. Julia, who's shorter than me, also tested it, and her friend Julie, who's larger, also tested it, and the results were pretty like roughly spot on for all three of us, even though we're all different sizes and proportions. It's kind of mind blown. So anyways, if you guys are interested, it's all in the description. Everything is always in the description. Okay, I'm gonna attach the zipper now. So far, we'd been guessing how much fabric we needed, so now it's the time to put on the giant ruffled boa and see if we actually bought enough fabric. She looking fabulous. I pinned across the gap in the back where the zipper is, so I just gotta cut that free. Can't believe how perfectly the amount of organza worked out when the sewing force is on your side. I'm gonna hem all the way around this top opening, hopefully also trying to catch the organza in that stitch too. Then I'm going to sew on every layer of the organza so it's all level. See you in a moment. Some time has passed and I've just made it one time around. I successfully got the tulle sewn in while also hemming the fabric. There's like a few parts where it was hard to turn the corner and I didn't fully catch the hem. I guess the good news is that this is knit, so it doesn't really fray. Time for the second circle. I've also been stabbed a lot in this process. Basically, I'm just starting at one end of the zipper, going on and on and on and on until I get to the other end of the zipper. The good news about the second one though is I'll just be trying to get the organza to be perpendicular to that first stitch. It's fluffy, all right. Some pointers from this try on. You can still see some parts of the pink peeking out, so I think I'm gonna try and tuck those in even tighter. Just do like a once over on this top opening. The bottom, I'm planning to hem. This is a bit longer than I would have liked, and I personally would love to just cut it all off. However, the zipper poses a bit of a challenge, so I'm kind of gonna cheat. I'm gonna hem it, and then when wearing it, I think I'll fold this edge inwards. I also feel like it could be a bit tighter on me. And next time you see this, should be done.
Can it be that you're here with me? Let's start writing our own history. Let's take this road, oh, this winding, winding road. Let's just take the long way home.
We are being followed. We're here to watch our photo shoot. Just life. Meanwhile, we found a building that matches my color scheme.
Spinning, spinning, spinning. Just keep going round, going round. You've got me running in circles. I can't keep both feet on the ground. Let's just keep spinning, spinning, spinning. Just keep going round, going round.
As whether you could tell this was inspired by the Mary Contranto dress worn by Beyoncé, I think the inspo is there and it's clear. And I think I do like it more off shoulder. I'm glad that I went with this like flexible option. Like I mentioned earlier, this video is sponsored by Casetify and their new 100% eco-friendly compostable cases. They're made of a bamboo-based material, free of virgin plastic, won't leave any toxins behind when it composts, and still just as strong and flexible as any case that you expect to get from Casetify. 4-foot drop, no problem. I have this one in lilac, coordinating, also in black. You can see the effort that they made to make the packaging recyclable too, just a recyclable sleeve and a card. There are more colors online and you can customize it with laser engraving so you can make it uniquely yours. For every compostable phone case sold, Casetify is also planting a tree as a proud partner of Earth Day Network's Canopy Project. Casetify.com/WITHWENDY if you want to get 20% off your new favorite Casetify phone case. I'm actually what is this color coordination? That really worked out well. Are you ready for outfit 2? I hope I am. All right, so this is the inspo that I've chosen. It's from the song Mood Forever in Black is King. Let me pull up my notes. The designer is Kujta and Mary. They are Albanian. This is not the first time Beyoncé has worn their designs. This dress is how she appeared at P. Diddy's birthday, I think, in the last couple of years. I don't know all his birthday details. So we're gonna try to make a jacket. I didn't really do a good job explaining the plan, but it is volume at the shoulders, fitted at the waist. Let's go. If you watched one of my previous videos where I showed you how to make your own perfectly fitted bodice piece, these friendly fellows will be familiar to you. This is the back bodice piece, this is the front bodice piece. I'm using these as a starting point, and then Julia, my assistant, has helped me to cut out the shapes that we need from this to start putting together the jacket. Let's start with the front. Here are the two front armpit pieces and the two fronts that are going to overlap to create some buttons. All of these vest pieces have interfacing fused to them to help create a little bit more firmness, and we're just going to put them right sides together along where the dart would be and sew that in place with a straight stitch. It's my front left, and now to repeat for my front right. And that's what's gotten us this front middle over here. It's been extended to make room for a double-breasted button situation and the front side. Here's the back middle piece, the two sides that have their corresponding armholes. If I lay down the pattern, you can see we've cut them to have seam allowance. Here's the line of symmetry, and these darts have seam allowance going up here. These are separate on the pattern, but when sewing, we can always just connect them. And then this here is the side piece. We did drop the armhole just a little bit. Since this is a jacket, it's nice to give a little bit extra room so that the clothes you're wearing underneath won't be bunched up. My back left, my back right. Now we're just gonna sew them right sides together along these seams with a straight stitch. To get these seams to lie extra flat, we're going to clip these edges so that they have some flexibility, and then press this in position on the two fronts and on the back. I have this one ready to go. On straighter sections, you don't really have to clip much, but wherever it makes a turn, make sure you add a few clips in there. Obviously, you don't want to cut all the way to the seam. You just come very close, and here is if you want even more flexibility to move. We're trying to be efficient with time. Julia is pressing, and I'm going to show you the lining. It is identical to the corduroy plus interfacing pieces that we have so far. Back middle, back side, there's two of these. Front with button area and front sides armpits. I'm going to sew all of these right sides together where those darts would be in the pattern, just like I did with the corduroy front and back. As an example, here's the left front after press, here's the back, just so you can see it. I'm gonna sew the fronts and the backs together at the shoulders and at the sides for this outer shell as well as for the lining. Let me show you where we're at. Quite cowgirl. Hopefully Houston, Texas approved. Same with the lining. Also a vest, I guess. It's time to bring these together. I'm gonna pin the lining to the shell along the entire perimeter, sew that together with a straight stitch. All right, all smooth and lined now. See where the lining flips out? We got to understitch to put it into hiding, and then see where these corners are kind of bulky. That's another good place where I'm gonna clip it and press it. The armholes are still open, so that's how I'm gonna access all the stitches for understitching and clipping. To do it, you just take the seam allowance, you push it towards the lining, and add this one extra little stitch, which is the same one you see right here. We put in one pin that holds the jacket closed, buttonhole here, and then they stretch in this direction to match the width of the buttons. To ease nerves, buttonhole foot, scrap fabric, sewing manual. This sliding piece will automatically make the button hole the right size by you just inserting the button into it. This black line indicated where I wanted it to start, and then this little line was the direction. It all went according to plan. So all that's left is to cut along this thin piece of fabric here, which will open it up. Wow. Time for the real thing. Okay, success! Oh my god. I just mocked up where the buttons are. They're like very loosely held on by a hand stitch. I feel even more howdy partner. Feels pretty symmetrical. I'm gonna sew the rest of these buttons on with the machine. I'm using all the machine's features today. Wow! Amazing! It's sleeve time. I'm just gonna sew these right sides together along the straight edge to turn it into a good old tube. And then along the top curve, I'm gonna put in 2 little gathering stitches so that we can bunch it up and give this a little more poof. It's just 2 parallel stitches on the longest stitch length. On one side, I tied together the top 2 strands, And on the other side, I tie together the bottom 2 strands, and then taking the strands that didn't get tied up, give them a pull, start to gather things to the middle. I've pinned up the sleeve right sides together to the jacket. Just gonna sew around here with a straight stitch. The gathering is only along the top, so I'm trying to make sure the entire bottom is smooth, and there's no gathering until we get to the part. Ooh. Ready for next steps. You need 2 rectangles, and we added interfacing to both of them as well. These get folded in half to form 2 cuffs. For the fancy cuff loops, you just need some strips, and I'll put all the dimensions in the description. I just spent the last bit making these cute little tubies. This one has not yet been flipped. I trim this edge, and up here at the top I sew across. I tie a knot in the string. After the trim, I can just pull and flip the whole thing. A good backup plan is a bobby pin to assist. Next step. These are all 6 centimeters long. I folded them in half and pinned them down to this edge. This is what they look like in the end. All I've been doing is 1 stitch that kind of holds them in place, and then I fold this whole thing in half and do 1 finishing stitch on each side. And now we flip. They're not perfect, but I tried. My machine does not have any features to sew this type of button, so I did do all 10 by hand. This is a great time to just put on a podcast, have something playing in the background, remind yourself why those wedding dresses with the button-up backs are super expensive, you know, just normal thoughts. Yay! Oh, I really like it. I have been gathering these sleeves and trying to pin these cuffs on in hopefully a reasonably even way. This hole should be big enough to fit around your arm at the elbow, and then notice how the cuff only goes around part of it, and this gap right here is just gonna be kind of scrunched up when you close up the cuff. Straight stitch along the cuff point. Hope it's the right choice. At least be symmetrical. Let's go. Let's get it done. Let's finish. It's too short. How did we end up here? This is not okay. I wanted this to hit here. We're like a whole 5 centimeters off. I'm gonna cut a new sleeve, reattach these cuffs, and I know I've complained a lot in the past about seam ripping because I hate it so much, but I've been trying to learn some techniques to get faster at it, and I really think they're working. Applying tension on the seam, taking the dull end of the seam ripper that has the bulb, nestling that into the raw side, and then you just push and the threads kind of just spring apart. Sleeve off. Time to finish. This is the original pattern that Julia helped me draft. It's a regular sleeve pattern, but in order to make it puffier, all of these vertical slits are the places where it was stretched out so that we would increase the amount of fabric. You want to increase by at least 2 times to get a decent poof. I still want this to poof a little bit more, so I traced it on the left, traced it on the right, and then kind of joined it together across the middle to create a larger sleeve. I also added some extra length at the bottom because, as you saw, the last one was way too short. And so here we are. This is a way bigger and badder sleeve. Like borderline too big? Is there such a thing? I've added already the gathering stitch along the top of this sleeve. So as you can see, it's all scrunched up. Along the bottom, I have gathering stitches along the whole way so that I can suck this up into the little cuff pieces that will hold it all together at the end. Wearing this to motivate myself to get it done. I'm gonna finish sewing these sleeves, but in your world, you will now get to see this finished piece as inspired by one of Beyoncé's looks from her Black is King video. Enjoy!
You showed up at my door, restlessly in search of something I can offer. You pled for something more, and I'm too scared to tell you what I want. 'Cause when you come around, I go way far down. I sink ever deeper now. Yes, I go something in the way that I loved you in my day, and I'm too ashamed to say that now I just don't.
Actually really curious to know which of these two items you guys like more, so please do let me know in the comments. I will just go ahead and admit that I don't feel like these turned out to be super everyday casual, and maybe that's what happens when you're using Beyoncé as your inspiration. If you want to see another DIY based on Black is King, Angelina from Blueprint DIY posted one for this Kelly Rowland statement sleeve look. That will be in the description, as well as the link to get 20% off your Casetify phone case. I'm gonna have some more photos of these styled differently on my Instagram at WITHWENDY. And if you post anything based on my tutorials, don't forget to use hashtag #MadeWithWendy so I can find it and love it. And if you've made it this far and you haven't subscribed, just subscribe, hit the bell notification. I'll see you on the next video. Bye-bye.